Hi, my name is Jasmine. Welcome to Girl, Let's Talk. Hi guys, it is Jasmine. Welcome to another episode of Girl, Let's Talk. We are talking about something that is really important, especially around this time of year in lieu of Valentine's Day. That is the topic of self-love. And so today I just want to dig deep and really talk a little bit off the riff as I get ready today. I have an inspiration for a look, and I don't know how good it's gonna be because I am not a makeup expert. This might be crazy, but at the end of the day, we're talking about self-love, so I love how I look, regardless if I look crazy, like I'm about to crash out. Around Valentine's Day, I know everyone talks about Valentine's Day is all about love and relationships and your partner and your significant other, and yeah, that is important. A healthy relationship, whether whoever you're with or whoever you are wanting to be with, you have to love yourself first. When you are lacking that self-love, that's when issues start to arise, at least with my own experiences. So if you guys know me, I always go back and forth between Refi and this Power Grip Primer by e.l.f., but I'm feeling like I want my makeup to be a little tacky today. And I found this really cool trick that this girl did on TikTok where she put her product on. She lets this Power Grip sit for like 5 minutes. So we're gonna fast forward through that. And then once it's tacky, and this stuff, it works. I have 3 cameras up right now, so you'll see me looking back and around all over the place. We're making this a professional show today. It's my own talk show. Welcome to the Jasmine Show. We're gonna let this dry for a little bit while I get into a few things as far as self-love. So the first thing is to think about what exactly is self-love. For me, self-love involves a lot of self-care, making sure I have healthy boundaries. I take care of myself as much as I can. I do A, B, and C, but it's a lot more than that, and it's a lot deeper than that surface level stuff. Yeah, it is great to go get a facial and get your nails done and really feel good, especially aesthetically. I've met people that are so beautiful on the outside, and yet they have not a lick of confidence inside. And so they're lacking that self-love. So I always tell people, yeah, you can look great on the outside, but like, what's really on the inside? Valentine's Day adds another thing because I feel like everyone wants to, and I think it's really important too because I do it too, they want to give love to their partners and their family and their friends. They really want us to really focus on taking care of ourselves too. And so just finding that balance of what can I do in order to maintain that self-love? Or if you're on that journey and you just started and you're like, I don't even like looking at myself in the mirror. Not in my best headspace right now. It's the holidays, or it's post-holidays. We're in the winter arc, so unfortunately seasonal depression is a real thing. Trust me, I understand 1000%. And so that's why I think this conversation is really important. So I really want you to take a moment to think about what is self-love, not to me, not to your friends, not to your partner or your coworkers. What is self-love to you? Handlery sticks. Now it is time to get into the makeup look. I've been really inspired by Kim K lately. She has this look with bangs, so I'm gonna even attempt to do bangs today. So this conversation might be a little bit longer, and it might be a train wreck, but it's gonna be fun. One thing I will say, especially if you're starting this self-love journey, it's not the easiest thing. I have always been someone that has struggled with seeking validation from other people. I've always felt like, not so much now, I'm still a work in progress, so that's why I'm saying that, but I am definitely I'm closer to where I want to be than further away, I'll say that. This is in my 20s, I was always like looking for a man or a job or a friend to just tell me, good job. I've always done way more than I need to. So the fact that I needed someone to tell me that I was worth it was something that I've always struggled with. And when I turned 30, I had this coming to Jesus, coming to my senses moment where I was chasing a lot of relationships and love. I want to start the conversation with you guys and say you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. You can't keep running on fumes and thinking that, well, if this person gives me something, then that's what I need. No, you need to make sure your cup is full so you can run over. You don't want people to keep pouring into you. You don't want to keep mixing fluids and things like that. That's a weird and nasty analogy, honestly. I don't know if I like that. For my 20s, I spent a long time I think I had maybe that much. I always say matcha. I had that much matcha in my cup, my analogy cup of self-love and self-worth. With this, during this holiday, and especially during this time, I want you to start implementing small activities, or like reading a book, joining a club of something that interests you would be really nice. So it doesn't have to be these things and all these extravagant gifts. I think extravagant gifts are nice, but they're an extra to the package of this whole present of self-love and self-care. So I really want you to take a moment on elaborating on the question I asked you of what is self-love and how can I practice it in ways that that would really benefit me. A perfect day of self-love for me is waking up early, having matcha, meditating, waking up with my husband and dog, not even being connected to my phone. Of course, you know me, I love my spa treatments and things like that. Maybe squeezing a little bit of that in there. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, I love me, I accept me, I am happy to be who I am, and that is all I ever need. At the end of the day, I accept who I am. That gave me chills. That gave me chills. Just looking at myself in the mirror, just doing that. That's another activity you can do in the morning. Just speak to yourself in the mirror and really take in how you're feeling. Or do you start smiling subconsciously? Does it make you emotional? Can you not spit the words out? I want you to think about that. That's a really fun activity. Well, it may not be fun, but it is a very healing activity once you do it over time. There's actually a girl that did this and she posted it on her Instagram and she did it for a year. I literally teared up when I saw her journey. She started day 1 of last year, just speaking in the mirror, saying affirmations. I am loved, I am light, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am this. And the first day she did it, she could barely look at herself in the mirror. She could barely even just look at herself in the mirror. And then by the end of the video, she jumps. She's like leaping into the mirror. She cannot wait to have that conversation of affirmations and love to herself. And I feel like that's something that we forget about. We're so focused on making sure everyone else is happy and content and their cup is full. But when it's just you and you, what's really going on there? I like to have a good clean base as far as my skin on a random note. So I love using this e.l.f. Halo Glow filter. This is in the color Shade 7 Deep Rich, and I absolutely love it. And then I go back and forth. I always top it off with this Urban Decay face bond. I use either the 36 Deep Warm or the 33 Deep Natural. I don't know, they're so close. In the wintertime, I kind of mix them. In the summertime, I would use the 36. And then in the winter, I use the 33. But I think today, I don't know which one I use, honestly. I always used to cake my face with makeup, and I would always wear like shades lighter than my face. I would do this heavy contour, and that was a mask for myself. I didn't like the skin I was in. I didn't like the color of my skin. I didn't like all these things. And so even though I looked beautiful on the outside, I literally had on a mask. I would try to cover the features of myself that made me me. And now on this journey, I can't even look at photos sometimes because it honestly pains me to see that I at one point wanted to cover up this skin, or I mean, I'm covering it up now with makeup, and hopefully you know what I mean, where I wanted to have several shades lighter and I wanted to have this heavy contour and this elaborate lash, so I just didn't look like myself. Another part of that self-healing is you gotta take off the mask. A lot of us project and we try to give this facade that we are the happiest people, but there's a mask behind that. You grow through what you go through. I will always say that you grow through what you go through. So take the mask off, feel the pain, heal, think about what actually is triggering you to where you feel like you have to put this facade on, this show for society, and write it down. I'm all about journaling. I'm all about like writing down your feelings and things like that. So really think about that if that is something that resonates with you as far as this conversation. For the concealer, I'm using my tried and true Sephora Best Skin Ever in the color 55N. I put it under my eyes. Once I find a brush or a product I love, don't really steer clear. Like I don't really steer away from it. I have used this brush or this type of brush. If this one messes up, I'm gonna go buy the same exact one for like a decade. So there's nothing wrong. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? One thing I will say, especially during this holiday, another challenge you can do is just speak kindly to yourself. Someone told me in a class I took, that it was either like a spin class or something, and the statistic blew my mind. How many times we think something negatively about ourselves or something that involves us throughout the day. It's like 1,000 to like, I don't know, I have to find it. I'll look it up and then I'll put it like right here or over here for a little tidbit, but it's like thousands of times a day. A thought will cross our mind that is not good for us. I want you to speak and think kindly to yourself. If you have a thought that floats through your mind that's like, man, I should have worked harder or I should have done this, cut it as soon as you realize what you're doing, nip it in the bud. I'm not gonna allow myself or others to put me down. Life is already crazy enough. I don't need that, okay? I don't need that. We speak kindly about others, well, we should. So why not speak kindly about yourself? Speak kindly to yourself from now and do a challenge. Do it every day until Valentine's Day. We have about, from this, when I post this, it'll be about 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to speak kindly to yourself and really just give yourself that love. And I guarantee you, within 2 weeks, if you do it correctly, you won't want to stop. Internal dialogue is so important. And if you can learn to speak kindly to yourself, you'll start noticing a shift in your mindset overall. And honestly, once you start speaking kindly about yourself, you're not gonna wanna speak or gossip about other people as well. And now that I speak kindly about myself, I don't wanna hear stuff about people. I don't have the energy to hear what so-and-so did in 2003, you know, or so-and-so did this at the party, or did you hear that she's not doing well? Okay, she's not doing well. What are we doing to help her? Are we supporting her, or like what are we doing? Are we just sitting here and being weird? It sounds like we're being weird. So I will shut that stuff down immediately. You guys already know I've been using this in the past videos. I'm using my Black Radiance in the color Deepest Dark, and this is the color Fondant. I butchered that. Pretty much this is, oh my gosh, this is contour. I use this angled brush and I just dab it and I put it here. I also, of course, go underneath here because I like good snatch. The next thing I want to talk about as far as self-love, you're not gonna like me on this one. You need to set boundaries with yourself and other people. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You better not turn that TV off. Don't turn YouTube off. I'm talking to you. You need to set boundaries. Do not allow these people or these situations take any more of the energy that you barely have right now. Turn off the phone, turn off your computer, walk away from the situation. Do what you need to do to heal right now. Boundaries are so important, and if you maintain boundaries with yourself, it's so much more easier to maintain boundaries with other people. I always say, if I can't advocate for myself, and if I don't take care of myself, how do you expect me to take care of you? Same with a partner. If your partner isn't taking care of themselves, why would you expect them to take care of you correctly? You heard that horn. They said, yeah, I agree. Also, on a random note, you guys love that I do this above or in this area because of the city. I was always like mortified. I was like, oh my God, this is so loud. I want to tie in Valentine's Day, of course, because that is the premise of this whole conversation. I feel like we put these expectations on ourselves for like gifts, and Valentine's Day has to be perfect, and I need this, and my partner deserves this, and A, B, C, and D, and that's great. I feel like if you are able to do that, then do it. You need to set boundaries. I think it's really important to, especially during this holiday, go in with an open heart and do what you can do. For me, Valentine's Day is all about peace. I've had some chaotic Valentine's Day experiences, and all I wanted was love. Like, I didn't need the fancy teddy bear, which it would have been great. But I didn't need the fancy teddy bear or 1,000 roses. I just needed my partner to be present. Like, presence is the best present you can have sometimes. If you are single this Valentine's Day, you really need to protect your peace and set boundaries with yourself. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have emotions that of course come with being single on Valentine's Day if you're really struggling with it. I've been there, and it's not easy. You want to crawl into a hole and not see anyone for 24 to 48 hours and the idea of a rose makes you want to projectile vomit, you know, like, it's not fun. Boundaries. If you're not able to handle being around people for Valentine's Day, go home and go sit at home and order your favorite pizza and feel your emotions and do whatever you need to do to fill your cup. That's okay. I feel like I've had a lot of situations, especially with myself first and foremost, but with my girlfriends too, where we've all felt the obligation to be with someone for the sake of a Valentine's Day holiday. At the end of the day, the only thing that you really need during that holiday, especially if you're single, is that self-love. And this is also for my singles out there. Do something that brings you joy on Valentine's Day. Do something that's fun. I wouldn't say crash out. I've crashed out on some Valentine's Day. But do something that brings you joy. Before we get a little crazy, I'm debating if I should do something with my eyeshadow. Should I? I'm not really good at eyeshadow at all, so we're gonna try it. I just want like a little bit of a smoky eye. Does anyone else make this face? Okay, do this. This isn't bad. I don't know what I'm doing. We're just going for it. I need makeup by Mario. I'm using the YSL palette. This is the Golden Lace number 24 palette. I think it's a seasonal palette. I got it around the holidays and I really like it. I even used it for highlighter on my cheekbones a few times. A big thing about self-love is practicing gratitude, even in the moments you don't want to. I know there's been moments where I'm like, I hate the world, I hate my job, I hate my family, I hate myself, I'm not happy. But I have to remind myself that I made the wake up list and I'm here for a reason. And I need to, even in the moments that aren't so easy, be grateful. There's someone out there that would literally die to be in the situation that I'm in right now. When it comes to that moment where you're like, great, I have no partner for Valentine's Day, I'm on my own, this freaking sucks. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to feel that way. I'm never gonna take that away from you. Like, it's okay to be like, this really sucks. I don't like this, like, I don't wanna be alone. But I think in those moments, take a step back and be like, but I am grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I'm able to have these experiences, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We have survived 100% of the hardest days we've ever experienced so far today. Every day you're like, man, this was really hard. You've survived that day. So give yourself credit. I want to go a little bit off the riff and talk about a bunch of other things. So I want to wrap up the topic of self-love, because I think self-love is great, but I always preach about it, and I don't want to sound too redundant. So to wrap up the topic of self-love, I want to, before we transition to another topic, I want to talk about one thing. Valentine's Day does not have to be a reminder of what you don't have. It's supposed to be a celebration of what you have at this moment, and to give love to that. I want to wrap up the topic of self-love. I feel like I'm always talking about self-love, and That's great and all, but I want to talk about some crazy things. So now we're gonna get into the juicy stuff, okay? I'm gonna share the craziest stories I have as far as Valentine's Day and things like that. Here is the first story. I have my phone. I had been dating this girl for 3 months. It was Valentine's and she insisted on a specific restaurant at a specific time. I made a reservation and we went. Well, her ex was there with a new lady and I didn't know this, but her ex and I look very similar. This lady had a type. Long story short, she wanted to make her ex jealous and it worked. We broke up at the restaurant and I found out 2 weeks that they were back together. I hope they're well. I would lose it. That's a crash out story where I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna crash out. Yeah, I get it. In high school, my boyfriend drove me to McDonald's where he put my high school, my boyfriend drove me to McDonald's where he put my present, a charm bracelet, in my McNuggets box. I should have known then. Yeah, girl, you should have. Yeah, you should have. Okay. I did my lashes. I got broken up on Valentine's Day, which also happens to be my birthday. The reason for the breakup was because I was gaining too much weight. I was obviously devastated, and I remember my mom taking me to go see a slasher movie, and I was crying the whole time. She tried her best. Mom tried her best. She really did. On Valentine's Day, after 10 years of marriage, after I made his favorite meal and given him a nice card and a gift, he said, "Oh, is that today?" I didn't realize the date. I got nothing and not even an apology. The kicker? His birthday was the day before, which he also had made a big deal of, and we celebrated. Girl, get out of there. Run. Let's do one more story before I decide to destroy my look with these bangs. I have this look, I have this vision, so I'm gonna do one more story and then I'm gonna try to do these bangs. I don't know what this is, but I saw the 3rd grade and I was intrigued. In the 3rd grade, we all had to bring in Valentines for each of our classmates and 1 piece of candy for each of them. My family didn't have a lot of money growing up, so my mom couldn't afford to spend extra money on things like field trips or Valentines or anything like that. Instead, she helped me make 20 or so handmade Valentines for all of my classmates. That's really sweet. Now that's cute. When I brought them to class, my teacher wouldn't let me pass out my Valentines because my mom hadn't bought a special treat for the class. I had to sit at my desk and watch all the other kids exchange Valentines and went home crying. The only satisfying part of that story is when my mom went to the school to raise hell, she found out what happened. I had no idea why the teacher was so mean, but she did apologize to my mom and didn't bother me for the rest of the year. I don't like that. We're not gonna end on that kind of note. That makes me really sad. I want to tell you guys a story of how I met my husband. So I dated this man for on and off for 10 years. Like we dated for 5 years and then 5 years after that, it was kind of like a situationship, and there's no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. Of course, I was absolutely devastated when everything ended, and I ultimately walked away because I was like, I feel like you're the person for me, but I don't think I'm the person for you. It was in 2020. I ended up like walking away from the relationship, and I ended up blocking him because I was like, I don't want to know anything you do. You've been a part of my life for a decade now. I really don't think I can handle this. I thought for the past 10 years, I thought this man was the one for me. I had envisioned our kids together. Our families are fairly close, and he was an amazing guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he was not a bad person at all. Like, I think he was absolutely phenomenal. He helped me in so many ways. He was way more mature than I was too as well, so maybe that's why I just wasn't for him. But he really showed me a lot of beauty in this world, and so I'll always be grateful for that. And so I went on Tinder, which was something I swore I would never do. I was like, no. And I went on and I had a few dates, and I actually had a few flings for a while, and they were not good. They were 1-2 months, and I was like, I'm done. I am literally done. And I'm 30. I think I just want to have an eat, pray, love kind of year. So my friend said, try one more person. And I was like, do I really have to? I really don't want to do this at all. I don't. And she was like, just try it. So I speak to this guy, we hit it off, he's attractive, he's cute, you know, whatever. And at this time, I was going to move back home to Charlotte. So I was living in Virginia Beach at the time. And we set up a date. And I'm a military brat, he was late. But he was also in the military at the time, my husband, my now husband. So he was late for this date. And I was like, yeah, you're trash. I gotta stop telling people that they're trash. I've been saying that since I was 18, you're trash. My dad was like, you can't say that. You're trash. Trash move that he had me waiting. So I was already like, I don't want to be here. I'm here, like, whatever. He finally comes 15 minutes later. He's like, I'm so sorry, I couldn't find the place. And I'm like ticked. I'm like, you don't have a freaking phone for GPS? It's a restaurant, one of the most well-known restaurants in Virginia Beach. Like, okay. So I go into the date, like, just over it, like, not interested at all. And we start talking, and we were there for 6 hours. And it scared me. Like, we left, they were like, you have to go. We've been open 30 minutes longer than we should. And we were like, oh yeah, we gotta go. And everything was great, like, but something about him terrified me. I was like, I can't put my heart out there. I do not want to start over. And so I ghosted him. I don't know why. A month later, I reached out to him. And that was surprisingly on his end. He was telling someone at work that night, like, if she doesn't respond back to me tonight, I'm done. I'm blocking her number. I'm not doing this with someone. And that night, I was like, I just want to hang out with him. I just want to see. Because I was actually going to move back to Charlotte, North Carolina with my family. I was over Virginia Beach. I was about to turn 30. I was like, I want to be closer to my family anyway. Something happened at home where I was like, I don't think running back home is going to solve my problems. I really need to heal here in Virginia Beach. And I was just going through it. It wasn't bad, but it was also just like one of those, I'm 30, I'm realizing my life. And that smells good. I need some more. Guys, this is the Supernova by Mugler. Oh, that smells really good. It's like fruity but sexy. It's like if you love the Victoria's Secret scents as a teenager, this is like the sexy, more adult version of that. Like, I'm hooked. Holy crap. I reached out to him, and that night he was about to be like, I'm done with this person. They're wasting my time. I'm reaching out. She'll message me occasionally, but then I won't hear from her. The typical ghosting. I went over to his house, and he was like, hey, like, he was not interested. He was like, I just want to see what you have, but like, what? And we picked out a movie, and it was a scary movie, and we started talking about our, like, I don't know how, we started talking about our hopes and our dreams and our aspirations, which is something that, sadly enough, people don't do in this day and age. And I ended up spending the night, and I never left his house. I never left. The next day we went to go pick out plants. And that's when the world shut down, so we couldn't really go to like bars and clubs like you normally would in Virginia Beach. So we would paint and like do like vision boards and walk and get coffee on the beach, and like it was just super insightful. And I never left that man's house. Like, my heart was, I had never felt that safe and comfortable with someone ever. And regardless, we ended up moving back here to Omaha. It is crazy to think that I started this, I'm gonna tie everything together. Here we go. All these awful stories of love lost, and you're sad, and you're like, I know what it's like to be like, I don't know if my person's out there. I don't know if I'm just meant to be a person that's for flings. And you know, for the longest time I would literally joke like, I guess I'm just a pretty face, like there's nothing else. There wasn't a lot of self-love when I was in that mindset. But I will say, once I started loving myself and accepting myself and healing, the person that was always waiting for me and I was always waiting for them came along. I met my husband after being in a relationship for 10 years, a decade of my life. I met my husband less than 11 months after that ended. And to think that happened, like I didn't even realize it until I was like thinking about it out loud. I was like, holy crap. Your person is out there for you. And it's not easy at all. Like it genuinely sucks to go on dates and to have that thought of like, am I worthy of love? Am I worthy of this and that? You are. You just haven't found your person yet. And sometimes it's okay to take a break. You don't have to keep going out there. I know for me, I was like, I don't want to go out there. I have to thank my friends for having me try it one more time. And even then, I was scared to death, and I was like, I don't like this feeling. I do not want to put my heart out there, and I did, and that person was mine. Love yourself. The love you give yourself and the love you want will come back to you. The universe has a magical, weird, quirky way of giving you what you want. It may not be when you need it, or when you want it, but it's when you need it. And so, with all that, this conversation's been all over the place. So I hope I was able to help you a little. I'm gonna try these bangs. This is the best. Okay, so this is the look. I think I'm kind of digging the bangs. They are different for me, but they're cute. I'm gonna top off the look with this Fenty Gloss Bomb in the color Riri. So good. So that is the episode. Let me know what you think and share your stories of love and experiences below. Let's make this a positive environment for our friends for this Valentine's Day.